TV, and today I've got Marie on, and we're going to be talking about the cardio med bed. Now, why would we talk about another energy medicine device? Because I've got two favorite ones that I think should be in every natural health clinic, and that's Cellsonic, and that is the cardio med bed. Why the cardio med bed? Well, because guess what? It will increase and restore circulation better than any other known device on the planet. I will give you just a little tip before we bring Marie on, but the reality is this: even if you had a heart problem and blockages up to 90% with doing the perfect day diet, with doing other things that we would ask you to do, and then doing the cardio med bed, maybe even just 35 hours in total, you could create a whole new set of brand new arteries in your heart, okay, and become heart smart instead of going underneath the knife. Underneath the knife. You think about that. All right. Welcome, Marie. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. So I don't know, has anybody heard of ECP or just through Dr. Wolf and this experience, or familiar with it? No? Okay. Starting from zero. Okay. So you may hear the word ECP or EECP. Basically, one is external counterpulsation and one is enhanced external counterpulsation. They're basically the same technology. Vasomedical used it as a marketing tool to say EECP, so enhanced external counterpulsation, but basically the same exact thing. So they are now used interchangeably, but when you hear that, EECP, it could be referring to a vasobed, or it could just be referring to ECP in general. So the basic premise is that the patient comes in and is laid down comfortably on a bed, and there is these medical cuffs, like blood pressure cuffs, that are adjusted on the buttocks, the thighs, and the calves. And what this does is, the purpose of this technology is to augment the heart's contractions, so that after every heartbeat, the cuffs inflate and deflate.
So now, in between the heartbeat, we have contraction of the cuffs. Exactly.
So our hearts, when we were younger, contracted much faster and much better. And as we age, our heart slows down. And so this technology enhances the augmentation of the heart, and thus the body gets more oxygenated blood. And oxygen, as we know, is the key to life. And oxygenated blood is the key to longevity and good health. As we age, that slows down. So what happens is, when you increase this blood flow, you start getting many benefits of this device. And so in the traditional medical industry, we've had physicians who have wanted to use their own technology, such as invasive procedures, in order to assist people with heart conditions. And the ECP device is a totally non-invasive, safe, and healthy device. So that if you have a patient who has had, even at the last resort, has had every procedure, ECP then comes in and gives you a lifeline. So typically our physicians want to do heart caths, or they want to do these procedures that the ECP can come in and help out with these things, and sometimes completely cure patients of these heart conditions. So what ends up happening is there is a conflict between the physicians, between themselves, as to what procedure is better, ECP or invasive procedures. Now we come with the alternative medicine physicians, which this is a godsend, because we have now the ability to reach more people And we don't have to be at the mercy of the insurance companies. We don't have to be at the mercy of cardiologists writing a script for this therapy or even wanting to provide it or rumbling about having to charge patients out of pocket. This is our lifeline. Our alternative medicine physicians are going to heal people all over the world and not limit it just to the cardiologist, which is absolutely fantastic. So by improving circulation, obviously we know that circulation is everything, right? So by improving circulation and specifically oxygenating the lungs, the brains, the heart, you are going to allow your, excuse me, 1 second, I'm sorry about this. You are going to allow the body to heal itself naturally. And that's what we want. We want the body to heal naturally and without medicine and without invasive procedures. So whatever, for example, we have found that COVID and long COVID have been either improved or almost the symptoms are almost done away with just by doing ECP. Because again, you're oxygenating the blood, you're oxygenating the heart and the lungs, and you're making that circulation better and healing the body more naturally. So we have ECP for many, many different applications that go beyond cardiology. We have ECP to treat patients with restless leg, for example, and ED, and early stages of dementia and post-stroke. And the physicians that are brave enough, the cardiologists that are brave enough to allow their patients to use this therapy for those applications are giving their patients a lifeline. And they are very limited. So now we have this ability to use this device with all of you. And I couldn't be more excited, because if I ever needed ECP, I'm really happy that it is available. We do have these competitors. I would say they're not competitors. ACS started off in 2001, and we were partnered with a company called Nicor. And Nicor was out of Florida, and they were manufacturing these devices, but Vaso Medical was our ultimate competition. They by far beat out Cardiomedics and Nicor. And it was in 2001 that we became partners with Nicor. And what we were finding is that physicians could not prove whether the device was efficient or not, because the results would vary from patient to patient. And so what ACS did is we got a 510(k) approval for a report format that we developed. And so that at the end of your therapy, you have this lovely report format, not these pieces of paper one after another. You have a lovely report format where you can compare the efficiency and efficacy of the treatment. And so at that point in time, Vaso was selling their ECP devices at $250,000. And we came into the industry and lowered our prices just to $90,000. And we blew them away. As a matter of fact, they were trading on the NASDAQ, and their stock got to, I think, 75 cents, and then it was wiped off the NASDAQ. Because you just can't do that. It didn't cost that much to develop this technology, but they were really just trying to market the heck out of it. The second blow they got was they were trying to do a PEACH study, which they were trying to get the device approved, Medicare approved for congestive heart failure. And unfortunately, the government didn't see the benefits of ECP with congestive heart failure. So one thing led to another, and they fell off the map. Now they are manufacturing their devices in China. They are still offering them at about $80,000. Made in China, obviously, at $80,000, I don't think so. Labor is so much less there. And every single component of their device is at a fee. An additional warranty is $10,000. Training is $6,000. Shipping and installation is an additional fee. It is highway robbery. Let's just put that aside. ACS's device is still superior to theirs. We have the quietest device. It generates less heat than all of the devices in the industry, and it is safe and effective. We've never had any reported injuries from our device. And overall, the physicians that use it have been using it for 20, 30 years, and they absolutely love it. And by the way, this device was invented in China, and they were using hydraulics back then. So it's been around since the 1950s. This isn't something new. So the bottom line is ECP oxygenates your blood. It increases blood flow to all parts of your extremities, and oxygen is the key to life and longevity, and this is the best way to do it with this device.
Thank you, Marie. And if I can come in now, I just want everybody to know something, that this device is amazing. And as you've seen, we've been showing you pictures and some video as you've been watching. But the reality is that the contraction of the blood coming up to the upper part of the body, understand what it's doing. It's not just helping the arteries, the veins, it's helping the microcirculation, which is 74% of the circulation is micro. And believe it or not, you will never have trouble with your arterial or venule circulation, which is the bigger arteries and veins in the body, unless you already have trouble in the microcirculation. Now, what we've done and we've seen over the last year is by using the cardio med bed and using Wolf non-surgical, where we'll actually go in and work on any body part, doing Wolf non-surgical, helping to lovingly pull the scar tissue apart to allow the blood flow to come back into this beef jerky, whether it's wrapped around your heart or it's in your shoulder, your hip, your spine, doesn't matter where. Once we do that, what we've done is we'll do the non-surgical. We'll also use the Bioptron, we'll use the Avicen, things like to increase circulation, relax the customer by doing belly button therapy before they go on, and make sure that your client, your patient, will drink lots of up to a quart of hot water, warm water with black diamond in it to prepare them so that they can absorb all the toxicity, the acidity, because increased circulation is going to get and detoxify the body just naturally. So we will do, if somebody comes in and they've got like a fibroid mass and it's calcified, we would use the Cellsonic before. If they didn't, we would do non-surgical and then use the cardio med bed. And then what we would do is then we would use the Cellsonic after. And we are finding, by using the cardio med bed, we are having amazing results that I've never seen before. So when you take like the Perfect Day, when you take the Perfect Day diet, supplementation, nutraceuticals, you do the Wolf non-surgical, and then you use the cardio med bed along with the Cellsonic. I don't think there's anything like it in the world. And I'm going to let my patients, clients, and our practitioners be the judge of that. But the reality is we're setting up what we call the power pack, everyone. And the power pack is where if a practitioner wants to come in and they buy a Cellsonic, we will do a complete New World Practitioner training, which is a $9,000 training. If they come in and get the cardio med bed, we'll do a complete New World Practitioner training. And with the cardio med bed, we already heard that a new one is $80,000 to $90,000 now, but you'll be able to come in at $39,500 and get a whole New World Practitioner training. If you ended up getting the Cellsonic and the cardio med bed, we'll do 2 New World Practitioner trainings, and we'll send you into a 3-day pelvic restoration course as well. So the reality is we don't want to just give you the equipment. We want to equip you with the most powerful training going. So I believe that this is what we call a New World Practitioner. And this is where Everything is about circulation. Think about it. Somebody that is ill, they can't get their circulation going because they're not going to exercise. Remember that. You've got to have the energy. And the techniques that we use decalcify the mitochondria, which cause it to spin back up to 2,500 revolutions per second, where somebody who is ill, it only spins about 300 revolutions per second. So they can't even make the energy to get well. So the reality is what we need to do is understand that energy medicine is what we need to use today. And we need to use nutraceuticals that will bring in more energy than ever before and cut to the chase. So if we can bring the energies level up, we can bring the healing up. And understand this. I already said that the cardio med bed is going to increase the circulation in a human being. Like even when it comes to things like impotence, right? What do you find with impotence? What do you find with people that are athletes that their circulation's gone down? Remember, everybody, that when you're an athlete and you start getting inflammation, scar tissue formation, calcification, and it doesn't mean if you're an athlete, you could be just somebody living a normal life. Just remember something, it's going to make you into a victim. It's going to cripple you. And with what we've put together, all of that can be reversed. Marie?
Absolutely. I mean, again, everything boils down to oxygenation and circulation. I mean, if nothing circulates, what happens when you pass? Obviously, everything stops circulating. And this device we have been manufacturing and selling since 2001, and the results that we have seen, I don't have enough time on this video to discuss all of the benefits of this device.
Well, anything that's got to do with increasing circulation will affect every symptom that a person has in the human body, and there are no diseases. There are only symptoms that haven't got the circulation back that become what we call diseases. Exactly. So you get inflammation, then you get an inflamed joint, then you call it arthritis, then you call it rheumatoid arthritis. Then what you do is you call it rheumatoid osteoarthritis. It's the same symptom getting worse because of lack of circulation. And please do not forget this. Dr. Otto Warburg received the Nobel Prize because he discovered the cause of stage 4 inflammation, which is called cancer by the medical system. And understand what that is. That means that the cells were not getting enough oxygen. They were running a deficit of 35% more of oxygen for more than 3 days. And the cell had to transform and mutate to live off of things like lactic acid and sugar. Okay, so the reality is this: if you can pull the fibers apart and get the blood flow back in, which Wolf Non-Surgical does, if you can bring up the frequency with Cell Sonic, which is a 25,000 volt device put into a harmonic field, and then you kick in the cardio med bed, okay, what you're going to find out is that you just brought in the holy grail of healing. And remember, it's always been about circulation. It always will be about circulation. A very healthy, vital person has great circulation. And understand something, you will never have pain, inflammation, stiffness, okay, or swelling unless you have a block. And guess what? The longer the block is there, the bigger the block gets, and the more cemented it becomes. With the cardio med bed, and you can start off gradually with just 15 minutes until, oh yeah, I like this. When I first started, I was like, whoa. And then after about 5 to 10 minutes, it put me into such a passive, relaxed state. And then, if you are on a perfect day diet, if you're doing the exercises, if you're doing the nutraceuticals, and I don't know what this cannot turn around, because remember something, 100% circulation is 100% health.
And if I can interject, you cannot exercise hard enough to get that kind of oxygenated blood pumping through your body. You can't do,
Marie, you can't do anything on this planet enough to create what the cardio med bed does. Everybody,
exactly.
Avicen creates more microcirculation than any other device, but it does not create the volume of circulation. Okay, the
Exactly.
volume of circulation that there is no other device on the planet. Well, when you're talking about a heart disease and somebody having to go to surgery, or they could do 35 hours of this, and there's a lot of people that turn around their heart disease, and guess what? They don't do the Perfect Day diet. They don't do cell sonic. They don't have non-surgical. They don't know what cleans the arteries and veins naturally. They don't know anything about that you should get the cork out and detoxify your bowel and your liver. When we put this all together, I'm telling you right now, there is nothing that will be able to come close to us. And this is why we are going to be selling the Power Pack. And when I travel and do my world tour here, this is what I'm going to be talking about. Anybody who wants the cutting edge and is able to wrap their head around that you must take a bit of a risk and invest, or you're going, or just use the tools that we teach you, that's great. But if you bring in these energy medicine devices, okay, we will be bringing people on like that already have these devices and how busy their business is. Understand something. The power to heal is in frequency and in circulation. You bring in high frequency, you bring in powerful circulation, and guess what? That's the game changer.
And you all are probably very lucky that your patients were probably midway. They want to perhaps improve their lives, or maybe they're a little overweight, or let's just face it, people who seek out good health are on their way to good health. But
well, you know, Marie, if I can,
yes?
I can correct you just a little bit.
Yes.
The world doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
So the world,
okay.
I'd say that honestly, 15-20% are that. The other 80 to 85% of the clientele is natural health, is last on the list. I've done the surgery, I've done the drugs. Okay, I can't do this anymore. Let's call us and give us a call. But I will tell you something, Marie, and I know this has got nothing to do with this show, but I'm over that.
Yes.
I am in the business now to only help the healthy, or like you said, they're somewhat overweight, or they see that there's a little bit of clinking and clanking in their body and they're on it. We are, myself, I won't tell my other practitioners what to do, but I do not want people that are highly addicted, highly toxic, okay, and that are grasping at straws, because it always flies back in our face.
It does.
So when people are on their last leg, that's when they go, oh, let's try natural health. Well, little do they know, unless you change your personality, you won't change your reality. We could use massive personal action and willpower, but that runs out as soon as the person goes home. If they go back to their old personality traits, it flies back in our face. And then Dr. Wolf took my money. Dr. Wolf took my mother's money, my father's. So we are changing our whole paradigm, and it's called, we are going to teach people how to keep their health and even become way healthier. Because the problem with today is everybody compares themselves to the person, the average person of their age. You know what? I'm going to be 67. I'm going to compare myself to a 67-year-old. Most 67-year-olds they've got wheels under them. Okay. Yeah. You know, they've got a walker or a wheelchair, or they got a cane, or they're already retired and wondering when the next golf game is going to take place. The reality is I will have nothing to do with it. And remember something, anybody that buys into becoming a statistic, you're already over the hill and gone.
Yeah.
Okay. The reality is this, all you need, when somebody says you're doing good for your age, don't take that as a compliment. Okay. Because everybody your age is on their way out. And if they're not on your way out, they're full of addictions. And I don't care if we're talking about teenagers or adults, or even the elderly. Most of the world don't even know what the concept of real health is. And I'm after the athlete. I'm after the person that wants to have an active life and continue to have an active life. We are not out to try to save people that don't realize that they need to take massive personal action and changing their personalities to change their reality. And that's all I need to say that.
Yeah,
Even though our
absolutely.
device will turn things around for these people, when they go home, if they go back to the same old program, well, you can only get what you are. Yeah.
It's a long journey, right? It's a long journey. I mean, my journey to good health started when I was 29. And, I realized at that point in time, I was diagnosed with thyroid disease, and, it just my whole life was out of control, in the sense that my health was not what it always had been. I'd always been very athletic. I'd always moved around. Everything was easy for me. Mobility was easy. Bending was easy. And all of a sudden it came to a crash after I had my son. And I said, this is not how I want to live. And so is it just a journey of hit and miss, going to this person and hearing this, from the traditional doctors to the alternative medicine doctors that back then, many years ago, were just not with it. And to find a place, a platform, to get all of it here at this, this particular platform that you're developing, and to put it all together. This is incredibly refreshing, because people don't have to do the hard work that I did, and to have that journey and to have it all at once and in one platform. That is very exciting. It's amazing. And we are absolutely thrilled to be part of that, especially with our external counterpulsation device. It is going to be a game changer. It's already a game changer. It's been a game changer. We had little senior citizens that, bless their hearts, they were where they were at their point in life. Couldn't go to a mailbox, couldn't play with their children, because of the heart pain and the fatigue and the shortness of breath. But after 35 sessions of ECP, they were actually taking dancing lessons. And so, if we can take, those people that are where they are at that point in time, either through no fault of their own or even their own faults, and we can turn them around like that with the ECP bed. Just imagine what we can do with all of your therapies and your protocols. I think it's very exciting. We're in a very exciting time right now.
Yeah, well, it's like this. Anybody that has passion and purpose and they've got a reason to live is the type of people that we're going to be searching out.
Yes.
I am not searching out the people that are scared to live and scared to die. I'm done with that now, because that just gets us into trouble, because it's like, well, we don't need to get into that. But the reality is this, is I'm creating what I believe to be the best opportunity for people who really want to bring people back to the most fulfilling life, practitioners who want to do that. I know that with this power pack that we put together, and with the trainings, and that I'm the only one that sells Sonic in the world that gives free training. I'm the only one that sells a cardio med bed that gives a free training. And the reality is that my reputation is based on how well people are trained. And everybody else's reputation that I train is based on my integrity. And I'll tell you right now, we have entered into a time where you better get some integrity, or you're not going to be open in 2 years. And the reality is this, right now, the people that are in charge of the finances are trying to shut off the tap on people. So people are going to be very selective. They're going to be very selective. And today, I'm telling you right now, people don't want to be treated. They want to be trained. And understand, we need to train our practitioners to full capacity. And then we need to get our practitioners to go in and treat patients, but make sure that they're trained when they go home, that they know how to love, honor, and respect themselves from the moment they rise until they close their eyes. And if we don't do that, that's the injustice, because treatment was never the answer. You're only good to the next treatment. The reality is, if we can bring people through this and they go home and they know what a healthy, perfect day lifestyle is, and they come in to get fine-tuned, maybe, right? Come in and get fine-tuned once a month. Yeah. Right? Let's really do that. And then let's meet, let's talk. Let's make sure that you know how to respect and honor 50 trillion cells, 500 trillion bacteria, and how you know how to create the life force in your own body, and stop making everybody else responsible, because nobody's going to take responsibility for your body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. I think that these tools also are a little bit of a jumpstart for people who could be on the fence, who are mm, on that borderline of either going into perpetual bad health, or moving, taking that big leap into ultimate health that will sustain them for the rest of their lives. And sometimes people need this lifeline. Sometimes people are looking and looking and they don't know what to do. And to spread this word that you all are doing, I think you're doing the world a huge service, and we need more people out there like you all. And I think you have the winning ticket there with the combination of these protocols. I think we are going to change a lot of lives. A lot of people are saying, because our world is incredibly uncertain right now, a lot of people are saying, learn a trade, learn something that's going to be beneficial. Hypothetically speaking, imagine a world where doctors are now restricted in treating certain patients because the government is telling them, oh, you can't treat them for this, or you can't prescribe this medication, or this patient is too old. I mean, think of this possibility, think of this grand opportunity to become healers, to provide services to people that are going to be desperate to find something, when they are told, no, you're too old, you're going to die now, take a pill. I mean, you're going to be a lifeline, and my hats off to all of you. This is a really great moment, and it'll be a defining moment in alternative medicine, I should say, Western and
Well,
Eastern medicine.
we need to make sure that we're working from our heart. I'll tell you that much, not our head.
Absolutely.
And I will tell you that right now my staff is working 12 hours a day because of releasing our new platform, which is the biggest health platform, the largest self-care, self-love library in the world, and our new app that people will be able to go onto their phone and actually be able to go on this app, and this app will actually deliver to them the information that they need, that they're searching for. And that's the biggest thing, is it's the frustration. It's most people, they don't even know where to go to look for this, but this worldwide app that we've just released, I will tell you that we will make a world of difference. And especially with the world tour I'm doing and everything we're doing, this is about teaching people that they've got to have unconditional love and respect for themselves first and foremost. And if they can do that, and they believe that they're worthy and they deserve it, then they will get better. Yeah.
It all starts with within, right? It's all
Yes.
within. They always
It's
say
it's an inner standing.
Exactly. Was it Robert Collier? He said the world within is the world without. Look at someone on the outside and you know what's going on the inside, right?
That's
right.
right.
Changing it from the inside out, and that's what ECP will do. We have story upon story that, like I said,
Can you share a few stories? Do you mind doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a doctor in Indiana. Oh gosh, his administrator was so wonderful. Unfortunately, he died in an airplane crash, and but wonderful doctor who was making great strides and is making great strides in patients with early stages of dementia. He had a patient who came in who had a stroke, in a wheelchair, couldn't hold a pen in his hand. And they did a video, which I have to resurrect and share with you all, where he came in a wheelchair, and bless his heart, by the end of his 35 treatments, he was walking with a cane, and he signed his name, and he was crying because he was able to do this. To the most extreme, let's talk vanity. We have a hospital in California that uses ECP. They use EECP. They use it for those movie stars to get rid of their cellulite. Okay, cellulite. All right, I'm game. I'll take it for that alone.
Yeah.
you have patients with early stages of dementia, and they say that with really severe COVID, you do lose your sense of smell and taste. Well, people who have early stages of dementia have a severe sense of smell loss. And when you get oxygenated blood to that brain, you can, start getting some of those olfactory nerves going again. You have patients who have diabetes who have no sensation in their extremities, their fingers and their feet. And after ECP therapy, all of a sudden you're getting circulation to that area of the body, and all of a sudden they have sensation, and that tingling pins and needles feeling goes away. There's just so much out there. We had one of our own engineers who lived an hour and a half away in California from our corporate headquarters, an hour and a half away, and he's a cyclist, loves to bike anywhere and anyhow. And he would take his bike and ride it to corporate. It would take him 4 hours. He'd get on the ECP bed and completely recover by the end of that therapy. So basically, you are doing the work of exercise without exercising. Exercise, what does exercise do? It gets oxygenated blood throughout your body, through your muscles, and
there absolutely is no exercise on the planet that will ever compare. And you better get
nothing.
This thing brings the thunder home.
Exactly.
And I just want to say this, everyone. These are people getting these results without our nutritional diet background, without the cell sonic, without the non-surgical, without doing things like vaginal infusions or the ultimate coffee enema or the pelvic exercises, the clapping, without the belly button therapy, or without our high vibration nutraceuticals that we carry. And I'm going to tell you something. We will get 3 times the results. And I can say that easily. And that person who got the stroke that was after the 35 sessions, he wouldn't have had the cane, because guess what? It got the circulation going, but it didn't pull the scar tissue apart or get the calcification back into the bones. And we know with our CIT therapy, calcium ionic therapy, that guess what? All the calcium would have been in the bones already, and there would have been no scar tissue. So he would have had the flexibility of being young again, because do you know what old age is? It's a scar tissue issue. It's nothing more than that.
And speaking of scar tissue, one of our executives had a father-in-law in Indiana. He's a farmer, and tragic accident. He had a tractor go over him. It was really, really tragic, but got to the hospital. He actually survived, but his heart was damaged by the accident. He had 2 sessions of ECP. So a session is 35 days. So the way that ACS does it in a cardiology application is 7 5-week sessions, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week for 35 weeks, for 7 weeks, 35 sessions. He had 2 of those. So he had one, waited 90 days, and had another. The man was pre-ECP. He was depressed. He wasn't eating. He wasn't moving. He didn't have a will to live. He had ECP, and by the time he was playing with his dog, he was walking his dog, because that was his whole life, to be able to walk with his dog. That was his whole life. And after ECP, he just improved dramatically. And again, possibly, if you're, going with the scar tissue, it helped repair that scar tissue that much faster, because he got it like right away after he recovered from the accident. So there is so much that ECP can do.
Marie,
you guys have another level of doing it better.
Yeah, but guess what? The reality is with that type of volume of oxygen and blood flow and enzymes and nutrition coming in, it is the WD-40. After we lovingly open up the scar tissue, okay, when that floods in, it instantaneously, and I can say this because it's true, it instantaneously turns the scar tissue back into connective tissue. Because guess what? We don't get rid of connective tissue. with a non-surgical and with the cardio med bed. Do you know what we do? We bring life force back in and instantaneously turns it back to young, youthful, elastic, energetic tissue. And that's the deal. It's always been about blood flow. You know, you see Grandpa, you okay? Grandpa's walking like a stiff board. That's just scar tissue, and the scar tissue is blocking the flow of blood. And when you block the flow of blood, everything starts to come down in vibration, whether it's your brain or your heart or any other organ. And then every joint starts to stiffen up because the blood is the WD-40 of everything.
Exactly. Exactly.
Daryl, Marie, I have some questions here. Can we answer a few questions?
Sure.
Would you mind? All right. So let's start with two questions. How soon after a bypass surgery, a triple bypass patient, how soon could one use the med bed after bypass surgery, triple bypass? Patient also has one artery with 5 stents in it.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to be full disclosure. I am not a doctor, and I would have to refer back to the doctor to get that. Some patients start ECP therapy within 6 to 9 months. But again, because I am not a licensed medical doctor, and because that patient seems to have quite a few issues, I would hate to give any kind of medical advice.
And guess what? Every patient is going to be different. And the medical doctor that looked after the surgery and that was assisting that patient should be the one to actually make that decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another question. Will the med bed help get rid of varicose veins?
Oh, yeah. It will.
Yeah,
but guess what?
Circulation.
But maybe I'm wrong, because when we use the cardio med bed, we're also using the cell sonic, we're also using clapping, we're also using essential oils and DMSO. So, and remember something, and the main cause of varicose veins are chronic constipation, even if you don't know it. It's not what comes out, it's what stays in. And then guess what? It's called pooping in the pelvis, and it gets into your bloodstream. And because your veins are the weakest part of the pump from the heart, because the heart pumps the arteries, it's not pumping the veins too much because there's not a lot of energy left, especially if you have a glicky, sticky diet and you have a sluggish bowel.
Does it help with hypothyroidism? And are there any other safety issues that we should know about the bed, using the bed?
Okay, I've not heard about hypothyroidism. I think because I do have hypothyroidism myself, I think that's an adrenal gland deficiency, and that is a different.
It's actually it's an iodine deficiency.
Iodine deficiency,
and
exactly.
The thyroid will take a beating. It's like the adrenals are where you whip the whip, and the thyroid's at the other end. And it's for people that are dumping too much adrenaline all the time because they're getting off on the adrenaline when they should be trying to get off on the dopamine.
And that's what happened to me. I had a child and I was going and going and going. And so I went into hypothyroidism. But your second question, I'm sorry, about thyroidism, or what was the second part
it was,
of the
were there any other safety issues in using the bed?
So our beds are incredibly safe. Like I said, I think all ECP is incredibly safe. We've never heard of any issues. The only thing that I would stress is that some devices and some physicians do not maintain their device. And obviously that's going to give the patient insufficient results. And from my experience, from the thousands of customers that we have, those patients that don't maintain that device, that do not get that that correct perfusion for their patients, they could have a different outcome. But with our device, we are offering the coverage that is going to be incredibly comprehensive. It covers everything on the actual bed and on the actual upper control console setup, which is printer, keyboard, the CPU, and the screen. So it's a pretty safe device. We've never had any issues with it. Obviously, the patient's health has to come into play. we had a
Can
doctor.
Marie,
Yes.
okay, so if I can go back a little bit, just know this, that when somebody was asking about hypothyroid, that's all about using infinite iodine, everyone, and infinite iodine, that's what's going to repair it. That person is iodine deficient, and infinite iodine is the only pure iodine on the planet. Next thing is, when we deal with our clients or patients, remember something. You have to look at their emotional and physical stability. And then what you do is what you think you should do, you back off even a little bit more, because there's no hurry. There's no hurry to get them well. Okay, just go in and making loving, consideration and observation, and go in gentle, and then make sure, then you can start bringing it on a little bit more and a little bit more. And it's always the best way to do it. Gentle baby loving steps. Remember, you've got the most powerful energy medicine devices when you're talking about a cellsonic for frequencies, and when you're talking about the cardial med bed for circulation. So what's the rush? I mean, even if you go the most gentle, you're still more powerful than anyone else out there. So most people and practitioners, don't get me wrong, but they will try to overperform and over deliver.
Right.
Pull back and allow these powerful devices guide the way, and just be gentler than you think you need to go. Okay.
So this leads me to a similar, a timeline, be gentle question. Is there a separate session planned for limitations on who to treat and who not to treat? For example, somebody with stents, and are there parameters when it comes to costing versus the length of time that they're on the bed? Treatments and timelines.
So again, I guess I want to separate the two applications. Obviously, in the alternative medicine, we have a greater ability to treat different things. Okay, in the traditional medicine, they're pretty rigorous about treating patients specifically with class 3 and class 4 angina. What that fancy term means is class 3 means that the patient has heart pain and they take medicine, and with that medicine, it helps alleviate that pain. And with class 4, it means the patient takes medicine and they're still in pain and they're debilitated. So the medical industry is very stringent about that. You have to have class 3, class 4 angina in order for them to treat you. Now, with a person who has a cardiac issue, we, like you said, need to go gentle. They need to consult their traditional medical doctor. We want them to get that backing and that approval from them. And if, for example, the patient would like to get ECP therapy, I would have the doctor clear that. Because obviously a person who has a stent is going to be under the care of a traditional doctor, right? So if a patient wants ECP therapy, we would like to have that affirmation, and we would like to get that consult from that doctor first. Just because someone has a stent doesn't mean that they necessarily would benefit from ECP. And again, even if with the stent, they may benefit from ECP. We just want to know what their whole history is. And again, I don't want to be, I would be reckless as a as a lay person to make any sort of suggestion with a person with a heart condition.
If I can opt in. So one of my colleagues that works with me very closely, he has 2 stents. And when he went on the bed, he was a little bit nervous. And after he did the first session, that was over. He couldn't get enough of it. Okay. His breathing, the tightness around his chest, even the flexibility of his joints. Well, we already know that oxygen opens up everything. Right. So I'm just telling you of his experience. We're not going to use his experience on everybody, because what a really good practitioner will do is look at the condition a person is in here and here, and then make an evaluation. But if it's coming to a point where there's been heart surgeries or anything like that, you have to bounce it back to the surgeon, okay? Because the reality is guess what? Don't be so eager to try to prove that you're right, okay?
Yes.
Don't be eager to prove you're right. Stay in your safety zone, know your limit, stay within it, and you'll never have a problem.
Exactly.
And that's the reality. And also, even if the surgeon says go for it, I would still put that gentleman on or that woman on for 2 weeks of Perfect Day diet. I would do non-surgical lightly around the heart to make sure we got lots of blood in there, and do non-surgical, wolf non-surgical wherever they have physical blocks or fibroids or stiff joints, because everything is about flow. And then I would make sure that I get them on some nutraceuticals that I know that we're cleaning up the blood, we're cleaning up the joints, okay, and that we've lightened the load of the bowels and the liver. And now when you go to do it, you're dealing with a whole different person.
Yes.
That's after you had the green light from the surgeon, and that's that.
Which leads us to another question, which is, are traditional doctors familiar with the ECP?
Very much so. We have thousands and thousands of doctors that do ECP throughout this country and throughout the world. Cardiologists, internists, and again, there was a huge struggle between the traditional doctors, Western medicine. A lot of doctors want to be very invasive. They want to go in and they want to attack the problem and throw the kitchen sink at it. Well, there's a lot of doctors that sometimes are on the more conservative side and say, we want a little gentler approach. We want a non-invasive approach. We want to see what works. And so the physicians that have had ECP have had it for the longest time, and they continue to use it. And then there are those doctors that will never use it, and you'll never ever be able to convince them that ECP works. So again, with the thousands of customers, thousands upon, I don't even know how many thousands of customers we have with ECP. We have them in India, in Dubai, in China, in Canada, and Mexico, and I'm trying to think here of other places, but we have these devices all over the world, and primarily ACS and vaso, it's primarily sold to cardiologists, so Eastern medicine. And so for them to come on board, you just know that this is an all natural, non-invasive device. You could safely say that alternative physicians are buying these devices. A lot of the names that you might know are purchasing these devices and using them. We also have sports medicine is really, really big with ECP.
Because they get to keep the edge. When you use the cardio med bed, you are going to keep the edge of staying an athlete, because you're not getting accumulation of the calcification, the scar tissue, and the crystallization. And if I can say something, there's a lot of medical people that end up getting them, but then they let them sit and get dusty. And that's why we get to what? We get to actually celebrate them doing this, because now the beds are coming to us at this discounted rate, because we're getting beds that have hardly any hours on them, and we're getting them at a beautiful price, and then throwing in a training for everyone. And understand something, I'll tell you where the bed's going to shine. It's going to shine with us, the natural therapists, because the natural therapists are going to show the potential of this all around the world. Listen, everyone, do you actually think that this is why today we were even working on the Power Pack website. And why do you think we're building around this platform? Because we know that we will have the most powerful new world practitioners around the world, and because we can use our strategies, our techniques, but then we can harness two very powerful energy medicine systems to really bring back life to our patients and clients.
One of the other questions that has come up here is warranty. Is there a warranty on the bed? Is there an extended warranty? For how much and how long? I know that's quite technical, but maybe you could give us a brief outline.
So the ACS device comes with a 1-year warranty, and you can purchase the additional warranty and an additional 1-year warranty if you choose at the time of purchase, or you can wait for that year and then we will contact you and you can choose to renew it or not. The device is so durable and so sturdy that it hardly ever needs any service. But there are times where, and depending on use, there are little things that can and cannot happen. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, a customer was moving the ECP bed and they moved it so fast that it bumped into a wall and it knocked out one of the cords. That's an accident, obviously. So, you know, you just can't, we strive to build a very reliable product, but you cannot predict when something's going to happen. So depending on your environment, depending on your usage, you'll have a complete 1-year warranty. You can choose to buy an additional year warranty at time of purchase, or you can purchase it later on. So you know, that comes complete, right, with the device purchase.
Yes, we've built that in for all our practitioners, that this is a worry-free situation, and it is. And I can tell you right now, with the units we sold and the situations we've been in, Marie has probably outshined anybody else that when I've dealt with equipment in years. And this is not me trying to fluff up her pillow. I'm trying to tell you that when you start talking to her and working with her, you'll find out that integrity is very important, especially when, you know, people are paying, you know, $39,500, okay, $39,500. They're getting the New World Practitioner training, but that's an investment. You want to know if something goes wrong, somebody's going to be there, somebody's going to fix it, okay? And
this is how it works, okay? Within the United States, if you have an issue with your device, because obviously there is a bed, right? It's a platform, it's a cushion platform. It has hoses coming out of it. There is a lift mechanism which adjusts the back of the bed so the patient can sit comfortably. And the device has that component, and then it has a computer component, which is on a cart. And the way that the warranty works is if there's anything wrong with the computer component, the printer, the keyboard, the CPU, the computer screen, anything that is wrong with that, we Federal Express you a replacement. There's a prepaid label in that replacement, and you take the component, you remove the old one, you put the new one in place. Everything is color coordinated in the back so that you can stick the right wires in the right place. And then you send us back the old component and you're up and running. If there is something wrong with the actual device, we will come out and repair that device, all on us. So you don't pay any additional expense. You don't pay airfare, you don't pay car rental, you don't pay per diem, you don't pay parts, you don't pay labor. That's all covered within the warranty.
And if I can say something, Marie, just
Yes.
know that they had to do that with us. They came all the way to Mexico, okay, to the World Healing and Training Center, and that's what they did.
That's right. That's right. And we made it right. We had an issue we could not fix over the phone. We could not fix with computers, and we have the ability to go into it's remote access. We have an ability to remotely access your program with your permission, obviously, and we can see what's going on, and we can do diagnostics over, you know, the internet. With Canada, depending on the international sites, with Canada, what we would do is we do the online, on phone, on Zoom video repair. And that works out really well. As you know, if something is completely unfixable, we will make that assessment at that time. And I've been with ACS since 1994. So I've been with them for a very, very long time. I know these people inside and out, and our customers are our, they're our gold, and we like to treat them very well. So you are not just a number, you are not just a person. When you call into ACS, there's going to be 4 or 5 people who know who you are. And Daryl, the whole company knows who you are. so you're not going
Well,
to
that's
feel like
either a good thing or a bad thing.
it's a
I'm not
wonderful
sure.
thing. It's a wonderful thing. When the CEO knows you by name and knows who you are, you may not know the CEO, but the CEO knows you. You can feel good about working with a company that treats you like an individual. And
Yes.
and that's what we're trying to do, obviously, here. We're trying to treat each individual as a person. We want to respect them. We want to take good care of them. We want them to feel loved, and we want them to feel like they're getting value for their product, right? And so we want to do that for all of our customers. I have friendships with customers all over the world. As a matter of fact, I just got a text message from one of my customers that long time customer. He was so mad at me when he first bought our products. He was so angry. He had so many issues. By the end of this second phone call with him, and the next day, he had sent me flowers and Godiva truffles because he was so happy with us. And to this day, he has my cell number, and he sends me text messages and asks me how I'm doing and how the kids are. So you're not just a number, you become our family, our friends, just like, in your organization. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. It's a totally beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I have 2 quick questions. Are the machines compatible in Europe? How would you get it fixed over there? I think you kind of touched on that. And what does ACS stand for?
Applied Cardiac Systems. And to answer your question, we have had a challenge getting devices into Europe. And if anyone out there has the ability to help us do that, we would welcome it. We had a doctor who was an Italian doctor who had attempted to do that in Italy. And unfortunately, it's very challenging. It's really, really challenging to get the devices in there. Again, they go in as exercise equipment. Repairing the devices would be remote, like we repair our devices in India remotely, and we send parts, and that's usually not a problem. And ACS started off in 1981, and we manufactured cardiac monitoring devices for 24 hours of ECG, and we are still doing that. We still manufacture Holter monitors and mobile cardiac telemetry, so real-time ECG monitoring. We have a lab in California, a Medicaid-approved independent diagnostic testing facility, and we monitor ECG of our patients. And interestingly enough, we have billions of hours worth of ECG raw data that helps develop our algorithms and allows us to improve our products dramatically. And it's really, I know ECG is rather boring, but it serves a humongous purpose for many, many things. Yeah.
I have a
And it
question
safely,
also.
go ahead, Teka.
Hi. So I was looking into ECP, and I noticed, of course, there's a lot of clinics in India,
Yes.
and I was looking into some of the clinics in California, and I know that cardiology is a very male-based business, and I would like to know, I did hear you mention cellulite, or possibly a clinic that was using this device for cellulite in California. Are there any other clinics or anything that are more female-based or more women-based that are using these machines, like in general?
Sure. Well, Dr. Deborah Braverman actually wrote the book on ECP, and a lot of our sports medicine facilities are owned by women, and we have, I'd say about 35% of our clinics are owned by women, and it's I guess the cardiologist is a cardiologist. I think cardiologists, quite frankly, to be a cardiologist, you have to devote a lot of your time and energy, right? And we women have other things that we want to do. We have families to raise and children to take care of, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel that the reason we have so many men in that industry is because they simply have the time to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I guess if you want to do ECP therapy and you're a woman, go for it. Go for it. There's no one holding you back, and no one is going to treat you any differently because you're a man or a woman or your credibility. I have a lovely physician in Texas, and she tried to bring ECP into a facility in Dubai that I went to visit. And that's a man's world. There was no penetrating that. That was a man's world. And she tried and she tried and she couldn't do it. She went back to Texas and she's having great success. So, you know, you have to pick and choose your battles. But I don't,
not so much as a woman owning one or a woman owning a business, but could you speak specifically to how this might help women, or something specific that how it could be marketed to women? I mean, I know cellulite, I know women have diabetes, and I know that women, of course, have heart problems.
Yes.
Probably more than men. I do know this, but is there any other clinics or anything out there right now that are, or more based on a female clientele? That's the word, the clientele of women, anything like that?
No, nothing that I'm aware of specifically. And I feel that ECP helps both men and women. So trying to cater directly to women in ECP, I've not had that much of an experience with it. Again, when you get into ECP, it does help with you know, a myriad of things. Like I said, restless leg is something I battle, and ECP is a good therapy for that. But I guess it would, you know, I don't have a specific woman-based clinic that uses ECP therapy.
Okay, great. That's good to hear. And then also, what's the youngest age in general for this? Like, can children use this machine or no?
We don't have ECP in children thus far. I think, gosh, the youngest patient is probably in their 20s, you know, and there are people with heart conditions that young. A lot of the studies with the COVID, for example, you know, the long COVID and the post-COVID, again, a lot of people are using ECP for myocarditis. And I would be careful with that, obviously. And I'm choosing my words. I'm choosing my words carefully because there are some physicians that don't believe in that. So again, I think that there are people issues, not just women or men. And I know that a lot of women are always looking for some sort of benefit and relief, but I'll tell you this much: circulation and oxygenation is life. You know, when things oxidize.
It always will be. Yes, it is.
When things oxidize and they get rusty, what happens? They deteriorate. So if you have phenomenal circulation and, you know, ECP is exercise. So what do they tell us?
For the whole body. It exercises the whole body. So
exactly,
not one place of your body doesn't get exercised, and it gets exercised more than any other exercise on the planet, and all you're doing is laying there. But you will feel like you've done a workout because it works out your muscles, your tendons, your joints, your organs. And when they're working out, they're dumping toxins, melting crystallization, and softening up the scar tissue. So that's the big deal. And so we know it's a detoxification. You can't pump something and not detoxify.
So just to give you a little bit better picture, if you imagine that the heart is actually pumping the blood through the arteries and then coming back through the veins and filtering that through the blood, right? Through the heart. So if you can picture the blood circulating through the arteries, and just when it gets back to the heart, okay, the cuffs inflate at 6 psi, pounds per square inch, and force that blood to pump in the opposite direction. So now a person that has a blockage in their heart, what happens is it develops collateral passageways like a dam. You have a dam and it's blocking all the water. So now you're forcing that blood to pump in the opposite direction, and you're creating other passageways. So now you're alleviating that blockage, and you're giving the body an opportunity to flow oxygenated blood again. And so whether you have a blockage or not, I mean, that in its most rudimentary format, that's what it does. That's what ECP was designed to do. So now take a person who doesn't have a blockage, and you start forcing that blood to pump in the opposite direction and flush itself back out. You know, the sky's the limit. It really is a phenomenal therapy. I mean, your oxygenation and blood flow is your lifeline.
Have there been
Marie,
studies and have there been any studies on inflammation? I mean, sorry, and infertility?
Oh, infertility? No, not that I'm aware of. We do have a website, right?
Helpful.
Where is Lorraine? Is Lorraine here?
Lorraine's working on, just so everybody knows, Lorraine's working on 5,000 different studies. She's organizing them and she's cataloging them right now. We pulled her off of all the other projects. No, actually, she handed that over to Gaston. Our
Okay.
web maker is going to be going through that, and we will have that all together for everybody.
Yes.
We have a couple other questions, and that's this. Can we do the ECP cardio med bed if we have a fused spine, or if we have rods? And yes, you can. Or mesh, yes, you can. You are not limited to the use of that.
And amputees as well.
Yes.
Amputees as well. There's just a little round disc that's put on the hose of, you know, that part of the body that's amputated, so that hose doesn't, you know, blow out air. So you just block that, and then you're good to go. Yeah.
And so just so everybody knows out there, if you're interested, make sure that you call me, and I'll go over everything with you, and I will get Marie on the phone if I can't answer your questions. But just know that you can go in and you can take a look on our website at the Power Pack, and that is the Cellsonic plus the cardio bed together. We put them there together because they're called the Power Pack. And if you've want to go through and take a look at the cardiac med bed, okay, just let me know and give me a call. And for everybody who wants to call on that, the phone number would be 469-861-8884. Okay, and you can call direct in North America, or you can call on WhatsApp around the world. And you can also call me on 855-900-4544 extension 5. And Marie, can we get you back on here in about, because I know that everybody's going to be really intrigued with this once they read it and they start really delving into this. Can we get you back on in about 4 weeks?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Whatever part of the world I'm at, I'll be on with you.
All right.
And if it's helpful, we can forward to you one of our ACS ECP brochures, so you can see the features of the device as well.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can do me a favor, and I will have Alicia have you send that to Gaston so he can actually put it up on the website. Is that okay?
Perfect. Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Alicia?
Absolutely. I'm here. I got
All right.
you.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm stoked. This is why I've invested so much into this, and I have. We've actually, I'm not going to get into it, but we did a contract with them so that we could get the best price for our practitioners. Isn't that the truth, Marie?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yes.
and it's not, it's more of ACS does not try to our philosophy is we are going to make this as affordable and as easy for people so that we can get it out there and benefit the whole world. Because the more people purchase this device, the more they refer people to us, and we just need to make a little bit on a lot of people instead of a lot on just a few people. That's just the way that we've always done business, and that's the best way to do.
And the best thing about this is they're just as eager to work with us as we are with them, because we understand scar tissue calcification, crystallization, circulation, and because we're already in that business, deeper into it than probably most people.
Yes.
So, and our understanding goes much further. And so they know the value that we bring to the table, and we know the value that they bring. So this is a very good relationship for us. And I want to thank Marie, because Marie, I mean this, everyone. I work with people that are very hard to work with. They may have a really great product, but it's hard to work with them. And I want to thank you for your personality, because it's a joy. No, but you need to get this. It's the truth. I tell everyone, you know, it's such a blessing to work with someone that says to you, I'll see what I can do. Thank you, Marie. And thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you,
so
Marie.
much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
It's
your
lovely
time.
meeting you all, and until the next time.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And if you have any questions, like I said, you can call me at 469-861-8884 on WhatsApp or direct, or 855-900-4544 extension 5. Or you can text me and I will actually text you back or call you. And just know this, we will have Marie back on, and we'll have more questions. But understand something, as Einstein stated, energy medicine is the future. And guess what? When we can get 100% circulation, we will get 100% healing. And I don't care what symptom or what disease they say you have, okay, to set yourself free, you have to have your circulation come back, which means that we've got to bring up your energy levels, because once you have enough energy, you will heal, okay? And everybody deserves a happy, wonderful, vibrant life. God bless everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Daryl Wolfen. This is DocStar TV.